You just sit down for a lunch break. Peace and quiet. And then the biggest complainer in your entire department walks in to take their break. And of course, they immediately start complaining. Has anything like this ever happened to you? Well, on this episode of Coffee and Conversations about Nurse Bullying, we're going to talk about how to set boundaries with those energy vampires. You know, the ones who suck the life out of you. Hi, I'm Dr. Renee Thompson, CEO and founder of the Healthy Workforce Institute. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations about Nurse Bullying. Okay, if you're like me, you have a hard time breaking free from someone who just, let's just say, unleashes a barrage of negativity. Someone who's always complaining and doesn't read the visual cues that you just don't want to hear it. You know, you feel like you're handcuffed to them. And as they continue on and on and on, you feel almost powerless to stop them. And you feel a sense of responsibility to listen to them. Now, you may not want to interrupt them because you feel like maybe that's being rude to them. So you suffer in silence. And maybe your heart rate goes up and your blood pressure goes up. But most people would continue to listen, even if they in their inside voice was thinking, oh, please be quiet, please stop. Like, how am I going to get out of this? Now, if you think about it, most people continue to listen to someone else complain and all this negativity for one of three reasons. First of all, you worry about how the other person will react if you stop listening to them, or if you interrupt them and say, you know, I've had enough of this. You worry about how they will treat you after that, you know, how they will react when they get angry with you. The second reason that you continue to listen is this may be a person you already have a relationship with and you don't want to ruin the relationship. And maybe you care about what this other person, you know, thinks of you. And then the third reason is, well, if you would interrupt them and tell them and were honest with them, you'd feel a little guilty. I mean, after all, would a nice person interrupt someone and tell them to stop complaining? A nice person would just listen, right? Here's the problem with all of that. Giving the complainer your precious time, you're actually saying that they're more important than you. And you know this about me. I am all about building relationships with people. But they're also, it's so important for you to protect yourself and set boundaries with some of the people who, especially you work with, because all that negativity affects you for the next few hours. So what do you do about it? I'm going to give you 3 strategies that will help you to set some boundaries with these people who capture your attention and then just unleash the kraken of negativity. And like I said, sometimes you feel powerless to do anything about it. First of all, as soon as they start their rant, interrupt them. Like, oh, wait a minute, okay? And say this, I have about 2 minutes to listen, and then there's something else that I have to do. Okay, that's your script. I have 2 minutes, I have 30 seconds, I have 3 minutes, whatever you're willing to give them. So you decide up front, this is how much time I have, and then there's something I need to do. You're not saying, like, you don't have to defend yourself and explain all the things you have to do. Just say it just like that. There's something I need to do. Now, here's the key. When those 2 minutes are up, you need to interrupt them and say, time's up. I got to go. Because if you don't interrupt them at that 2 minute mark or whatever time you said, you've just taught them how to treat you. If you're going to set a boundary, you need to honor that boundary. Okay, that's your first strategy. The second strategy is to Refuse to have the same conversation over and over again. Many times a chronic complainer complains about the same stuff over and over again. If they start repeating the same complaint, say this: hey, you know what? We've already had this conversation many times. Can we talk about something else? When you say that, you're being honest with that person, right? You're being honest with them. And you're also being respectful. We've already had this conversation numerous times. Can we talk about something else? Which implies that I don't want to hear that again. I am willing to talk to you about, basically at this point, anything else. And then the third strategy is to say this. If they start complaining, just say, hey, before I listen to you, and you could say complain, tell me one good thing that's happening in your life right now. Okay, just tell me one good thing. Or you can even say, I'm willing to listen to you complain about this situation, as long as you're willing to at least tell me one good thing that's happening. You know, this whole negativity bias, we're always inclined to look for the negative and find things to complain about. Sometimes we all need to be reminded that, you know what, there are good things out there too. It's a perfect opportunity for you to help this person think, oh my gosh, there are good things. So, all right, I'm curious how you deal with the energy vampires, especially in the workplace. Please let us know in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about how you can address bullying and incivility in your workplace, well, that's what we do. Make sure you go to my website, 𝗷𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗡𝗂𝗋𝑖nsitute.com, to find out how we work with organizations to address bullying and incivility. So until our next conversation, be kind, take care, and stay connected.